Then Raffatak and Flasher down the outside. Miss Joe lead boxing away. Felix Scott's got a narrow lead with 100 metres to go. Raffatak trying hard. Flasher is charging. Flasher on the outside. Got up and won the cup.
Welcome to Bet Dr. Brisvegas. I'm your host, Scoot, and I'm joined in studio with John Walter. How are you, brother? You broke your foot overnight.
Broke my foot in my sleep. Just happy that we've kicked off here, so you can't add any more races to the how many we're covering today. So at least we're off and running. Back end of the Brisbane Cup. Fresh again today. Borko's up from Melbourne, and he's brought the cold wind with him.
Yeah, we're doing better than Sale. Heavy 10. It's good to see that if it gets to heavy 10, it's automatic abandonment down in Victoria. So it might as well be universal rule because it's happening in Queensland, it happens in Sydney, and now happens in Victoria. But GK, you're up and about. How are you?
Going well. I'm up to hour, I think 9 or 10 of trying to analyse the Battle of the Bush. So I'm up to, about, the 450th form line here from Gundawindi and Townsville and wherever else.
It's crazy, isn't it? The whole the back end of this card is a little bit like that. I've done probably 5 laps of the fields yesterday, and then I went down a couple of rabbit holes this morning, and I think I've found maybe one really good hidden roughie, but it's a card at Eagle Farm that you could spend many hours and get it horribly wrong. You must have enjoyed it, John.
No, I was right about the Ipswich Cup, wasn't it? The Grease Trap Cup, the old 1,200 days between runs to wins for the winner. Was he 9-year-old or 8-year-old or something? Yeah, Flying R or something. Yeah, what a race. What a time wanted.
Poetic Drama is still waiting to be put into the race. That was an absolute...
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but it was a little bit lead offensive. I know your bullish horn just grew throughout the day, but I think... How do they still have that it can't be a venue that carries group races. It's just, anyway.
That's crazy. Hopefully a few of you guys found Orton in the eyeliner. I know it saved my bacon. Brave One was, it's a demolition job up at Randwick. It just sat wide and just kicked their brains in. So good stuff there, Walt. And Henley Grange was too strong, but it just set up as a bit of a car crash, didn't it? So Raikkonen was the moral in the easier race, and then Dildo's given it a sore back in the Civi.
Probably should have gone close, yeah. Both races. I nearly had the day of days kicking off in the highway, but we battle on. This week looks diabolical in Sydney, so I think we're going to cast it aside. Just brass it till worry about it later in the week.
There's one thing doing the old Waller do not compete and when they just snag them right out the back, but when a jockey bounces like it did on a horse like Raikkonen, who's one of its big assets and talents is to sit on speed and then accelerate off. It was hard. It was hard watching, wasn't it? Because then he just sort of reverse parked it. We might see a couple of replays later on the show with similar examples.
Too, like Headley Grange, you've won clear dangers as a sit sprinter. You've got the full advantage over him early, and somehow ended up behind him, like 2 or 3 lengths behind him on the bend. So yeah, it probably wasn't Dildo's best ever, but.
He'll keep the right.
What's that?
He'll keep the right.
Oh, I don't know. That all said a few different riders, but like I just looking at the riders at Hawkesbury and Saturday in Sydney, it's tricky at the moment. It's tricky at the moment. We need them back.
We say it often. Jockeys make so much of a difference. GK, the sun is shining, and the big rain bomb that was set to hit is going to miss Brisbane entirely. It may get the Gold Coast Monday, Tuesday, but even that's downgraded from, say, 40 mil to possibly 9. What do you make of this track on Saturday?
Yeah, it's a 6-metre rail. Look, I think the week off would have been good. There's a little bit of wind around. It's cool weather, but what we saw a few weeks ago was that the track started to get really firm late on, and I think it's going to be a pretty firm track on Saturday. Like a couple of weeks ago, we started to see some really, really slick times, and I think that's going to be a similar situation again. So, I'm looking for horses that really have shown that they like those firm tracks. I'm thinking, in the sort of 2-3 range, we want firm track form in particular. That's really going to be a disadvantage for a lot of runners on this card, especially in the second half of the card. So I think that helps us a little bit. Just in terms of pattern, I think probably lanes 1 and 2 are a bit of a disadvantage. And as we get to that second half of the card, some of those big fields, they're going to be coming to the middle again. So, potentially a disadvantage if you're drawn low and, you need to get off them. So, I think in many ways, typical firm track, Eagle Farm, you don't want to be too far off the speed. You're looking for horses who've got that, that form on, really firm tracks. And ideally drawn sort of middle to outside is no disadvantage in these big fields.
Beautiful. All right, punters get a road, so you might have to be up there in the firing line. Today we're going to have a look at races 1, 2 and 4, and of course we'll cover the quaddie leg, so 6, 7, 8, 9. If you're looking for Sydney and Caulfield racing, you can turn off now. We might throw a tip really, really late in the card, but I've scanned Caulfield, couldn't find much there, and Walt is not really that keen on Rose Hill, and he's sort of shaking his head in the background there as well. So let's get stuck into Eagle Farm Race 1, and Mashani Lily's opened up favourite here, $2.35, break free, second pick, $3.20. She's ours for $60, Brisvegas $8, Museonte's $17, and then $23 or better the rest. Brisvegas, the horse that you've found here, now third up, comes from a Warwick Farm race. It's 3 pairs back in the Aussie Kahir colours with the blue and the yellow spots. Tell us why you like this, GK.
Yeah, I just think this is just building well into this campaign. Like, I'm liking the progression up to 1,200 now. Like, the way I've sort of jigged through its form, I think 1,200's really going to suit. And I think some of these are pretty suspect getting out to 1,200 and are probably going to be wobbling the last 50 metres. So I'm not sure being drawn inside actually worked for this thing at Warwick Farm. Just finished the race off nicely there. But there's good tempo in this race. We know what Mashani Lily will do. It's just going to go forward, try to control things. But there's other tempo in this race as well. There's Cosmic Proportions, Xiao's, Dabble Effects, Petite Palace, among others, can all go forward. Break Free can go forward. So, if K-Mac can just sort of take a sit off that tempo, I think he could be Johnny on the spot here. And, when I dug through the form of this thing, like going back to its first prep in Melbourne, like it has good form around some talented gallopers, Sweethearted and others. So, look, a little bit hidden, I think. And I think, given the potential race shape here and tempo, if you can make ground and if K-Mac doesn't get too far off them, I'm expecting this thing to be finishing the race off really well. And, open double figures yesterday. We've had a scratching. I still think $8 is great value.
Yeah, I think $8 is a fair price. I don't really know much about the Sydney form. I'll ask Walt in a second, but the horse I was sort of drawn to firstly was a horse called Break Free. Has won 3 out of 4 starts. She's done it on a good track, heavy track last time where she threw 2 plates and looks a really nice type for my eye. It doesn't really look like a classic capitalist, but there's a lot of ability there, and I think she just came to the end of a tether in that Group 3 third up last time behind Gimme Space and Street Chase and those sort of horses. So Camp absolutely loved this horse. Her debut win at Caloundra was huge and did something on the clock there. So I think there's more to come from that galloper, but I was quite surprised that they opened her up $4 break free. So with that in mind, with the draw in mind and the prohibitive price, I think I'm just going to sit out and sort of watch this race. There's nothing that really horns me up about anything here, given the way the market is. But I can see why you like the $8 for Brisvegas. Walt?
Yeah, I backed it first up, and it wouldn't beat me home off that at Kembla. It went so bad, but the betting was really weird late, and then it was sort of 20 to 1 the other day, and I kept it close on it because I thought it could improve. It's the same as sort of GK was saying. Its form in Melbourne was too good to dismiss, and I think that horse that beat it there, Unique Star's a pretty good horse. Like I'd be happy to back it to win this race. So yeah, I think it is more about how big a task Karen sets it. But at least you're getting a price, and it's the only horse I could have something on. I agree. Sort of the value runner in the race. I couldn't back any of the others with any confidence. So yeah, I think it's the right angle in a weird race. But I would say more often than not, McAvoy will fall asleep and give it too big a start. But we'll hope he doesn't.
All right, betting on jockey capabilities there.
It's not all his fault. Like the horse is a bit one-dimensional. Like from the gate, he's going to have to go back. It's just hopefully he just gets a toe in and he's not too far away at the 400, right?
Well, we might get to learn a little bit about the track, so it should be heading the line and a bit of a buyer beware on the track if it's not making up ground. Let's have a look at race 2. It's the Eagle Farm 160 years race day, benchmark 85. John Rambo's the favourite here, $3.20. Termagant is $4. Flag Hall, $8. You got Set to Shine, $10. Northern Decree, one of my old horses, $11. Rise of the Masses is $13, and you got He's Heaven 15, Godfather 15, and 21 all better the rest. Termagant is the first replay we're going to have a look at here in the 1,000-metre race. It's in the private eye colours in the black and the green. Just
checking off heels behind him.
Jesus, have a look at this, GK.
Yeah, just has no luck here. Held up, for probably 100 metres there. Is ducking and weaving, gets back to the inside there. Also carrying, I think it was 62 this day. So, it's just a pipe opener, really. Probably should have won the race, but that's all you really want to see first up, sort of in that grade, moving to 1,200 metres now. I think in previous preps, I had a bit of a query about whether this was a 1,200 metre horse. And I was thinking it's probably more 1,000, 1,100 metres, but I think it's shown 1,200, no problem. Just draws to just do no work behind the tempo here. I could see it maybe being midfield just from that draw, because there's just not a lot of tempo in this race. And the main danger, Johnny Rambo, which is going enormous and has been going really well all prep, it's just going to have to get back, and it's going to have to produce a big finish down the outside. It hasn't had a lot of luck, and that's always the risk with these types of horses. And I just think Termagant's going to be ahead of it in the run, and there's going to be an advantage there. And just has a really, really sharp sort of 200-metre sprint, Termagant. So I think it's going to be really hard to beat here.
Yeah, I just hope they don't go too far back with Johnny Rambo. You saw him in the replay there for his last sort of 400 metres at the Sunshine Coast. The horse still looks like he's going absolutely airborne, John Rambo. That was probably Martin Harley at his worst. He gets Ryan Maloney this time, and he actually jumped really well on that occasion. And then he did sort of similar things to what Dylan Gibbons did on Riken, and found a great spot, didn't hold position, and then sort of half missed the boat, and then came in around them, and then he needed to change that whip hand a lot faster, because as soon as he put one around his left-hand side, the horse sort of ducked in where he gets to the outside, he probably wins there. So, again, bookies haven't really missed either of these runners, so I'm not jumping out of trees to get around it. But I thought different rider, midfield tactics, if he can run on, he's a genuine threat, John Rambo, and he's enough in the race to try and make me think that it's another sit-out job. I feel like I'm sitting on the fence here with Splinters, but might just shoulder arms. Again, race 2, Eagle Farm for me.
I agree with GK that it's the only horse you get back again. It's just drawn perfect. All the horses in front are pretty much one-dimensional, one-paced horses that 1,200 sees them out, and the main dangers are behind that look like they're going to give it a start. So I agree, it's got a really nice turn of foot. Just wish it had a rider. Horse looks like it's just desperate to get a stronger rider, and then it would be a real push-button horse, whereas, that's probably about as much as I have to say. But, Clean Air, the horse, is definitely the one to beat.
All right, so lining up on both of the first two races, GK and Walt, so a fair bit of confidence there. Race 4 is the next one we're going to have a look at. We'll skip over the Battle of the Bush, because we could be here for an hour previewing that one with about 30 different replays. So race 4 is the Tattersall's listed 1,400-metre event, and Brave Design is the last start winner of the Oxlade, its favourite, $3.50. Autumn Boy has been heavily back, $4.20 to $3.50 from Sydney. Duke of Arrakis is $5.50 from the Waterhouse Botyard. Got Regan. Royal Chick was a bit of an eye catcher last time, $9.50. Fabulante's also at $11. You got Damien, $12. She's an Alibi, $12. Pillow Fight, $18 for Bjorn. And much, much better the rest. You got Lockie there at $41, which I know GK will be looking to back each way from our chats offline. But here's the Oxlade Stakes, and Brave Design was sort of Johnny on the spot and was too strong here. Just take note of Fabulante's in the pink and black that sort of hits the line. You can see Brave Design just starting to jog up to the leader there, goes past him, and then Royal Chick sort of flashes late with the white and the
second
the blue.
From the outside.
Yeah, second from the outside. So most of the form comes through this race, but there's a couple that's hot on the heels of the leader there. So I'll be interested to see what happens now at 1,400. And the other horse that looks like it's screaming out for 1,400 that the market's all over is Autumn Boy, and he's in the Ritchie colours, so the same colours as Firestorm there in the orange and the red with the blue sleeves. And doesn't really get cranked up here, Walt, until his last 200, and that's the half to or the horse out of Sunlight that's won since in the Coolmore colours. What do you make of this form?
Pretty funny that they're all on the Coolmore horse. Slow tempo. I think the race caller had it shot to bits in the old 20s out to 50s. Waller had first started down the outside. Rips home and looks like the Autumn Sun. So it's by the Autumn Sun and looked like the Autumn Sun. Overcame a slow tempo. Last 50, 100 metres was pretty special. Big, long, rangy sort that looks like he's going to improve getting away from Canterbury. So, yeah, everything positive about that replay.
So you're happy to take the Waller runner?
Yeah. It's weird, isn't it? Like you've got I was saying 20s to 50s, a winner of a maiden. I think... what's the other thing? Duke of Arrakis was about $18 in a maiden, and they're a similar price to a listed winner who did nothing wrong and sort of ran well behind. What was that, Group 2 or Group 3 the start before that? So
yeah, cool. Actually.
Yeah, it's tricky trying to work out what prices these horses should be. I definitely, if I had to own one in the race, and I'd want to own Autumn Boy. It's just probably pricing trying to work it out. I think Duke of Arrakis has come up a little bit short. I think it was a steady-ish race it came out of in comparison. I thought Autumn Boy sort of was the horse I want to find here. The only thing is there's not a lot of speed, so that's the only other worry. I thought Kajenga went well. Royal Chick was okay as well. So I think it's an open race, sitting on the fence a bit like you say, but if Autumn Boy had to come up $6-7, which I would have expected, I would have had a very good crack at it. I just think it's right on the bottom of its price, sort of not really a Waller thing either, is it? Rushing him to Brisbane second start in a race, But yeah, he looks potentially the real deal, Autumn Boy. So I'm excited to see what he does more than anything, more than betting.
It's a funny scenario because I looked at the last few winners of this race and really chinky, the winners of this. And Waller's such a pattern trainer. I agree. There's something a touch smelly or something a little bit unusual or something. Yeah, it doesn't just seem right.
Got under his guard, obviously,
or just late mature or missed a run, or because if you look at that run in isolation last time, you think, oh yeah, this horse would be his JJ Atkins.
He's had
horse.
2 trials and he's $1.80 chance or something in that race, and they expected him to do exactly what he did. He did everything really well. Never sort of was off the bit, sort of tracked up, accelerated, and as I said, the last 50 to 100 was super, super strong. So, yeah, it's hard to knock him. It's just whether you think, 5 to 2 or whatever it is fair when Brave Design's obviously got extremely good form, drawn perfectly, set up to get an absolute ideal run. And there's obviously a couple other potential improvers in the race in sort of even Duke of Arrakis. And I actually thought Kajenga went huge. It's gone 11-11, 1400. It was very unlucky not to beat Hidden Motive, who's a very fast horse up in Sydney. And I think 25 to 1 looks silly, but it's a good mental puzzle, this race. And yeah, there's probably going to be very different schools of thought, isn't there? People that are happy to launch Brave Design, and then others in the sort of Autumn Boy or Improver camp.
GK, clarity?
Very little clarity on this race. I found this very difficult to decipher, and I just found some of the setups, like especially for the Sydney horses, like they're very odd. Like it's very unlike Waller and, the rest of the stables that are here, I thought. So like even Gay, like I thought this was probably a little bit strange, like 1150 to 1400. Like I don't know. Like I think you can poke holes in all of them. Like I would definitely want to be on Autumn Boy sort of, moving forward, but I just don't know whether it's ready for this second up here. So yeah, I mean, I went round and around, and like if I got a better price Autumn Boy, I could potentially play there. But I just, I go back to the main lead up, the Brave Design one, and it's all pretty linked. Like I thought Brave Design got, it was pretty soft on the line, but it got a bit of a PR there, I thought. Like I definitely thought Fabulantes and Royal Cheek were the best runs in the race. But do I want to be on them here? I don't know. Maybe they can be a little bit more positive out of the gates. So that just sort of took me back to Lockyer, where, I just think 1400 is just going to suit this horse really well now. And I know most people are sick of this thing, and the jury's out about its convictions. But look, I backed it, I think, for the first time ever last start when it won. And it was really strong to the line. Like it was the best last 400 of the meeting at Doomburn. I think the crossover noseband seems to have resolved the breathing issues as well as the starts. So look, if it repeats that again and if it jumps well and it's forward of midfield, I think it's in the race here. And 40-1. I'm going to have something small, kind of 1x4, 1x5, primarily a place bet. But I don't think that's the worst bet in this race.
GK knows that Ashley Klein's not refereeing this, right? He's not expecting it to get 6 penalties in the first 400 metres or something and kick clear.
Dear.
We'll see.
I thought out of the traditional lead-up form, I thought Fabulantes was the best one. And
you just like it because it's in your family colours, mate.
Timmy Clark. I'm not related to Robert Heathcote.
It's not what I've been
We've
told.
got very different ideas.
It's not what I've been told.
Especially
I've got your old man on the drink a couple of times.
Jesus Christ. Robbie saying that he's been disadvantaged by wide gates all carnival when wide gates have pretty much been the place to be. So
Timmy loves the wide gates.
Yeah.
It took me about 5 years to convince him, but he loves them now.
Free bet, I'd be backing. If you got a free bet, maybe have something on Fabulantes. It might be the improver, but scared, senseless about Autumn Boy, but agree with the boys. Does seem a little or a lot smelly. Let's get stuck into the quaddie. Race number 6 is the first one, and it's the Tattersall's Gold Crown. It's a fillies and mares 2100 metre race. It's exactly what we need at this time of the winter carnival. Marymount Bull is the favourite, $3.60. Miss Jolene on the back up, $3.90. Quietness, $4.40. In from $6. You got Pool Gratuitous. I finally got it right, $7. Kind Words, 10. Thalassophile, 14. Osmose was a bit of a traffic cone, and it's also on the backup, $15. 23 Kitty Rose, and you got Little Mix still going around, 23, and then you got Artful Girl and La Cometa rounding out the market. First replay we're going to have a look at here is the favourite, Miss Jolene, and this was another absolute stinker. And we sort of preempted it, or we sort of knew it was CJ Graham. She punched it out. It's on the fence with the blue and the white, just in behind the leader there. And she jammed it from one of the outside barriers last time, or in this race, sorry. And then she just let it drift back, got stuck behind traffic, and the horse still boxed on, and she carried the top weight there that day. So complete forgive, complete upside down, all momentum lost coming into the home turn. And I'm sort of forgiving, and I think by sheer act of sort of luck, I think the backup suits her here, and I think she's sort of still got more to give. So I can see why it's favourite. Don't think it's much value. But Quietness is the horse that GK's found, and I'm not surprised. It's in the white with the green sleeves and the red hat, and this is sort of the Lock Eagle form here, and Sydney. And this import was first up, GK.
Yeah, first up here, I thought this was very encouraging and very impressive first up, that off a long break coming from overseas to lob in a race where they went really quick. Like this was a fast run race, and just the way it traveled up, gets to the inside, which I'm pretty sure was inferior ground that day, and finished the race off really well. And now we get up to an ideal trip. And if you go back through the replays of this thing overseas, one of the things that really drew me in was the tactical speed, and it's led, it's sat OSL, it can just sit on speed. And in a race with not a lot of tempo, and with a number of these that I think you have to say queries at the trip, I think this is a fantastic bet. This would definitely be my best of the day at the moment.
Yeah, I really like the way she jumped early last start, and she was absolutely trucking coming to the home turn, and then to finish off the way she did, she'd be an absolute declared job. If your man Timmy Clark was on it, I'd think, Walt, but Tommy rides, and Tommy just needs to go forward for once in his life.
Well, I wasn't quick enough to get the $9. Yeah, there's just the speed thing is you're probably right. Just needs to go forward. But what a horrible, horrible creature of a race. Terry Pilkington, they just Osmose can improve if it leads and they leave it alone. It can improve off last week. Like it was at $5-6 in that race. You'd expect it to. Marymount Bull is close enough to favourite. If they walk, it'll suit it. It's probably the best suited if they absolutely walk. It could just out-sprint them. Miss Jolene's been through 96 rounds with Tyson. They finally put a rider on it and don't put a rider on it. Little Mix is the other horse I found, just because it's 25-1 and it is suited up to 2100 along with Quietness. But Quietness is the only horse you can back again. Agree with GK again. I just unfortunately missed the price, but still looks okay, and it's coming off a wet track. Grabini was a train wreck since there was the horse that ran second there, so I think that form's well and truly solid enough for this. Ugly setup, 1600 heavy to a 2100 metre good track for me normally, but this is not a normal race, so yeah, Quietness is the only horse I could possibly back. Little mix at odds.
Might be going skinny on the quaddy leg here with all three boys lining up on Quietness, so could start even shorter. And funny fat finger there if they put up $9 as the first prices. So good luck to anyone that snapped that up.
I would have liked the $90 double Quietness into General Salute in the last. It would have been a handy little double to get as soon as they put betting up.
We'll get to that in a minute. Race 7 is the Tatts Mile over 1,600 metres, logically, and Inflictor's come up favourite here from the Stratty, $5.50, Exotic Miss $5.50, Sabark $6, Rising Pacific $8, Queen of Dragons $8.50, Demon Dub $9.50, Chickamajito $14, Christ Ayor $18, Cosmic Vega $18, you got Democracy Manifest $19, you got Cranky Harry $20, Captain Finkel $20, and Aerial Dancer and Banana Slide, the last two in the market there, $35 and $51. First replay, GK, you're going to be forgiving of the Inflictor. He's in the red and white with the Racing Checkers cap, just getting a bit of a squeeze by the Rob Heathcote runner there, and gets sort of checked out of it and sort of drops his bundle there. You're thinking he can bounce back off this?
Yeah, I just think that's a complete forgive. And, you know, I think if you look at the race shape here, drawn wide, but I think it's going to be able to get across relatively easily, and probably sits, I'm guessing, OSL. Spark probably leads, Inflictor probably gets outside, and you know they've booked Rachel King here, so you know, tactics are going to be pretty clear. So look, it's just going to be right there, and we know that Eagle Farm, you know, firm tracks, no issues with this horse. So for me, the Inflictor has to be the starting point. I haven't backed it, but it's where I'm starting in this race. But there's certainly others that you know, at bigger prices that I'm interested in as well.
Let's have a look at the Spear Chief, and this is Rising Pacific. Tranix Atlantic is the winner of the race. You got Desert Lightning down on the inside, who went pretty close in a Stradbroke, and Rising Pacific is in the blue with the white checkers, the Australian Bloodstock colours.
Yeah, look, I think this is a very good run for this race, and we just know with this thing that you know, the mile, it's just absolutely perfect for this horse, and you know, this track as well, just loves it. Malian rides it perfectly, just with soft hands, and you know, produces it late, and really it just wants to smother this horse until we get to, you know, the 300 meter mark, and you know, Malian is really good at those sort of rides. So I think it's really well set up here. I think, you know, the race shape suits. So yeah, Rising Pacific is right in the race.
Absolutely loves bone dry ground, so it's going to get that for sure. The next one we're going to have a look at is Democracy Manifest. Its trial at the Gold Coast, and it was a bit of a failure. So maybe didn't get through its lead up run to the Stratty. So this is sort of Plan B. This option needed a week to get over it, but still hit the line okay in this trial. Despite 60 kilos, the sort of $19 seems a big price, GK, at his best.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I just, the last three runs have all been at Group 1 level. It's had none in any of them. Just like putting a pen through all of those. I suppose there's a question about whether this thing is still at its best. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's that was a season ago. And, you know, I think that's probably fair enough. But, you know, I liked that in that trial that they actually gave it a dig. Like, you know, normally I wouldn't necessarily want to see that, but I wanted to see them, you know, have a go there to try to win the trial. I think that's, you know, that's a sign of intent that I want to see. So, you know, I did get 20s. I've just got to have this as a winner. You know, at its best, you know, I think it wins this race. So, Democracy Manifest, definitely a winner for me.
This is an interesting puzzle again, Walt. Sabark's got the peer form, went good. Queen of Dragons ticking along okay. Comes from sort of the mare's form. Cranky Harry sort of looks set up to run well here, finally getting out to 1,600, dropping in weight, and then is Democracy Manifest still with us? It's a tricky race.
The Tattersall's Grease Trap handicap. nothing can win. The Inflictor, I think Spark, they rode cold the other day. I think they'll ride it cold again. So maybe that will leave Rachel to just do a thing in front on the Inflictor. It's got to be the one to run down off that. It was good in the Stradbroke. So I don't think it runs a mile too strong. Or I think it's a huge risk. So if she gets the tempo wrong, it definitely opens the race right up. Queen of Dragons is dangerous. Rising Pacific's dangerous. I think Chicken Mojito is probably the one to beat if it gets the right run in transit. Day Thornton Gate 1 scares the life off you, even Creasaur. So I probably, Democracy Manifest was probably third pick of mine of Waller's there, but I think they're the three dangerous horses. Chicken Mojito, Democracy Manifest, Creasaur, they'll all run the mile out, I would imagine. Yeah, it's a horrible race. Horrible race.
I think Chrysaor is much better on the
Firmer,
wet deck.
Firmer plus. It's sort of got all these. Yeah, there's a lot of weird, heavy to dry. Rising Pacific's very honest, but it's definitely not the best horse in the race. Spark's not much good. The Inflictor's, got to run the mile. There's just queries everywhere, and you can just see a Waller runner jumping up out of the ground. Just don't know which one it's going to be.
So we might be going 10 horses or maybe the fat field here, nearly.
Oh, there's a few you can leave out. But there's a few you can leave out, but not many. Not many. But it's the grease trap of the quaddie, I would have thought.
Yeah, I did like the way the Inflictor picked back up there when Rothfire knocked him over. He still was sort of okay for his last 200 metres after he got that nasty little bump. So potentially forgive him, but I might have to go deeper in his breeding to see how well he'll get through it, especially being by under the Louvre.
Drawn perfect just to roll forward. It's just, it has to be the one to run down, just whether it's going to be vulnerable or not.
Scout Wide in the quaddie for race 7, and now we get into a cracking puzzle here. Race 8, the Group 1 Tatts Tiara over 1,400 metres. Firestorm, they tried to open it up 350. It's just zoomed express out to 420. Probably drifts again, I would have thought. Now it's got barrier 19, despite J-Max sticking with it. Floozy 440, Tashi 750, Grinzinger Bell is $13. You got Zazu $14, Alencia $17. Just Feeling Lucky is an emergency, but $17. You got a Bounding 18, Infancy 21 in from 35, Coco Jambu 20, Adiella 21, Konasana 23, Curvolante 26, Elmore Zillow 26, 27 Arctic Glamour, and much better the rest. We're going to have a look at 3 replays here. The first one is the Dane Ripper, and Floozy's Johnny on the spot and made her own luck. Great ride, and horses like Tashi, which was sort of expected to be up there with her. They rode it cold, and she was fast finishing. I thought Firestorm was a little bit underwhelming first up. She's usually a bomb horse first up, but maybe she needed that run. You got a Bounding out wide. I thought Gumdrops did pretty well there also. Arctic Glamour was given a complete barrier trial. So there's a few questions to be asked about that race, with potentially some slight form reversals, with Floozy sort of getting the gun run. But Floozy did do that almost a month between runs, so it's hard to knock her with that taken in mind. And I've sort of gone back a little bit to the start prior with Floozy, looking for something a little bit hidden. And Curvolante is the horse that I've found in the Helen Coghlan. Floozy wins the race, but in the Chautauqua colours, in the blue with the gold, they were stone dead on Curvolante here, and she took an eternity to get in the clear running, and she only gets stoked up for sort of the last 200. She finishes 9th, but through the line, I thought she had plenty of horse left, and at $26, I think she's one of the best roughies in the race here, and all that kin form, the Floozy form, the Tashi form, it's all sort of stood up, the Helen Coghlan, and I went back into the archives of the winners of the Tatts Tiara, and most sort of come through either the Helen Coghlan or a 1,200 metre race, or they drop back from the Stratty, or they're on the back up from the Stratty, depending on how the program falls. But yeah, I was sort of looking for a different angle outside of the Dane Ripper, given a couple of those Dane Ripper horses are likely to flip things around. And GK, I know this is the horse that you think can turn things around, and this is Grinzinger Bell, and It's just had a little pipe opener jump out here. It's in the green. It's in the Yulong colours. It's only 800 metres, so there's not much you can make from it. But Kaboo, Rheinberg, Moonamek, they're all in here, and you think it's going to give a bit of cheek here up in front for Timmy.
Yeah, definitely. I just think that, all the rest of that form is very linked and very bunched. Look, I think Floozy deserves to be favourite, just primarily due to tactical speed and race shape here and just the huge upward spiral it's on. I couldn't have Firestorm at this price from that barrier with likely track pattern and so on. But I just think Grizzlinger Bell, with the tactical speed as well, like I think it's probably going to lead the race. It's going to be tough. I think it has the ratings to definitely trouble these favourites. Like I think some of its performances in previous preps are good enough to win this race. So I think at double figures for me, this is my main bet in the race. And I think it's one that the market's overlooking at the moment. But there's a number of others. Like I'll be wide in the quaddie. The one that comes through a lot of that linked form that I think can greatly improve is Arctic Glamour. Like this dry track is just so suitable for this horse, and there was just no intent there. Absolutely no intent first up. Complete barrier trial. I'm hoping that they show a little bit more intent. Like in the past, when they've got to grand final time, they've got to Group 1s, they've shown more intent. So, in the past, they've ridden this thing closer to the speed. I think if they sit midfield on this thing, if K-Mac can get to a spot like that, I'm expecting this mare to let down really well. I think $34 is absolutely insane. So, Grizzlinger Bell, Arctic Glamour, 100% covering both of them, backing both of them, and then I'll be wide in the quaddie.
Well, we're hunting wide at the moment. Thoughts?
Yeah, I got Grizzlinger Bell pretty short price favourite, to be fair. I thought sort of should be closer to 5-2 than 10-1. So, I think it'll lead for a long, long way. And yeah, I don't understand why it's not favourite. 77 days off, I guess it can't be, but I think it'll start closer to favourite. Yeah, I found all the same roughies, Coeur de Volant, Arctic Glamour, and Infancy Zazu. Infancy's probably a big risk at 1,400, but dry track, if it just sucks and gets a shot at them, it can't go around a loser. So they're all 15, 20, 25-1, and this thing's 12-1. So I'll probably be broke at, 359 on Saturday if something wide doesn't win here. I just thought Floozy's makes its own luck, but geez, it's had every start, and Tashi was ripping ground off it the other day. I just know Tashi too well that it's just, Tashi can't win a Group 1, can it? Like
1,400.
Well, even if this is a listed race, which it really is, it can't. They can't. They'd have to downgrade it post mortem or whatever. Yeah, sure. Anyway, I agree. Grizzlinger Bell, clearly the best horse in the race for mine. Firestorm, I love with a passion, but if she beats me here too good, she just went like a hurdler the other day, and if you can revive her off that, even though she was a little bit of a gap between runs, are too good, and they're just all these horses are going to they're drawn to give huge starts. Firestorm, Coeur de Volant, even the other horses were sort of Zazu's drawn horrible. Infancy, they're all drawn terrible. Arctic Glamour, all the horses we're looking at taking big prices about. They need a lot of tempo and a lot of things to go their way. So hopefully Timmy's off and gone, and if something does run it down, hopefully it's one of the 25-1 back markers.
Yeah, I can't add too much to that summary. Coeur Volant is an early bet for me, and then so was Infancy. When they put up $41, I had to sort of step into that, so no surprise to see it halve in price. They're absolutely airborne, they're closers, and I think you boys are going to have to, you nearly convinced me to chime into Grizzlinger Bell, because, yeah, she looks the logical, strong, tough leader, and if she's in a mood, she can definitely take running down, so she gets full control, and feels like every race we're nearly finding Tim. He could have a massive
the first race I found him. I've actually told him if he rides the last two winners, I'll walk his dog 3 times a day for the rest of its life. So, we're on to the last now.
Team Timmy. And the way the track sort of setting up, it could be the absolute go for him.
I was just going to say, like, it's not hard to find TC, in general, but especially in Brisbane, against the opposition that he's riding against, but also the way the tracks play, which just completely suit his riding style, right? So, TC's just he's a go-to jockey.
If anyone out there is listening, please just call your bookie and get them to price up Tim Clark, 3 or more, 4 or more, 5 or more winners.
Mate, just 2 or more. Please, last 2. What's the other one? Two or more starting at race 8.
Get the market up and then DM or send us the link on the bottom of the YouTube channel so we can all steam
He's
in.
hungry at the moment. He keeps telling me he's broke every second day. So
God.
I don't know.
He'd have more money than the king.
For him to be broke, he's eating gold bricks. Yeah,
Unbelievable. All right, so the Group 1 Tiara, hopefully it's feast for us and famine for the bookies. Last race is race 9. It's a Eureka Stud Group 2 Healy Stakes, 1,200-metre race. And this looks like a decent event. Hidden Well favourite, $5 with 60 kilos. Could be a false favourite there. Need some luck, $5 out from $4.20. General Salute, $7 into $6.50. Metal Art, $7.50. Osmar, $9.50. A Little Deep, $14. Barber, $17. Midnight Tokyo, $17. The Novelist, App and Girl, Mullane, Prince of Boom, Cannonball. Got a big tail to it, this one. But the 2 replays that we are going to have a look at is General Salute first off. Its last start win, and I think it was it's in the yellow here. Gerald trained and Schiller on. This is another Schiller off, Tim Clark on here. Barrier 10 it's got this time, but wow, this is some sort of win. I think that's a striker out in front and really hard to make ground that day. And
they controlled the speed too.
Yeah, it went just whoosh down the outside. This is a sprinter with a fair bit of upside and just love the way it sort of pinched it there with Dragonstone to its inside. The other replay we're going to have a look at is Need Some Luck in the Hinkler handicap. And bookies thought this should be favourite in the red and the green colours, and we're obviously all on it at the shorts this day and just didn't quite get the chocolates. He got Compelling Truth out in front and a bit wayward, bit hard to make ground and just couldn't get the job done. And yeah, I'm just not sure that App and Girl and Compelling Truth have got the same sort of strength as the General Salute form line. So I was happy to side with GK with General Salute. Well, you've already sort of half shown your hand there with General Salute, but GK, Hidden Wealth, pretty big task here, 60 kilos, just poorly in against some of these and Need Some Luck as well. Sort of like they just got the wrong horse favourite in this one when it first went up, Markets.
Yeah, I don't think Need Some Luck can be favourite in this race. I just don't think its form lines are as strong as many others here. Look, Hidden Wealth will be hard to beat. Like 1,200 metres at Eagle Farm, it is its go. Like this is what it's made for, this thing. So, look, it's going to be competitive and it's going to be hard to run down. But I just think, if they don't give it too easy a time in the lead or let it get a gap on them on the turn, I think some of the Sydney form will probably come to the fore. Like, I just love that last performance of General Salute, and I love horses that go out on a big peak like that and then come back for a race like this. I think that win last start, that race was stronger than this race. So, I'm chips in General Salute here, but there's others in the race which I think are very interesting and will definitely be in the quaddie, and I'll be covering. Metal Art is absolutely flying this thing. So, getting down light in the weights, getting collar, drawing low to get, a suck run. Like it's going to be close. So, General Salute will be giving horses like that a pretty big start. So, look, horses like Metal Art definitely be in my quaddie. I'll probably cover it. There's others which will just sort of be in the right spot. Like, don't know about Barber at 1,200 at Eagle Farm necessarily, but it's going to be in the right spot. Like, I could see it, being sort of third pair or second or third pair or something like that. So, it's not out of the game. Have to put that in the quaddie as well. But yeah, General Salute main bet for me.
Well,
obviously, you're already
$10, mate. What do you do? What do you do if you've got someone you're getting paid to put up $10 this week? Do you just give him a cup of coffee and tell him to go for a lie down, or you give him a slap, or do you show him the door? Well, its win at Kembla was even better. It trialled.
It was
extremely
well.
The
Kembla.
Yeah, it's the horse to beat. The pattern's obviously important. I think there's enough speed there, and he's drawn. I'd rather him drawn where he is than low, to be honest. Especially sort of late in the day. Yeah, there's plenty of bums to follow here. I think if he gets the right back of half a dozen horses, he's going to get off the back of them and let down be very, very hard to stop. So unless it's, significantly up and off and hard to run on, I think he's going to be right there. If Need Some Luck beats me, there's a few horses here that we've sort of backflipped on, like Firestorm, Need Some Luck, jumping off their back and onto something else. They'll probably come out and jam us. But if it's set the similar task to General Salute, I don't think it'll beat at home. Metallardi's dangerous, and I thought Barber was the clear value of the race, $17. It's the other horse that's going around a winner for me for sure. A little deep, if you forgive Last Start, can be there as well. I think it's sort of 15-1 as well. So it's they're probably the two value horses. Metal Art has to go in the quaddie, like GK said.
Osmar?
Don't think 1,200 metres is its go. Okay. I think it's a sort of 1,011. It went huge. Should have pissed in Last Start. That was whoever. If you're on it
was a complete car crash.
You'd still be in the fetal. It was great. And Gate 1 probably gives it a chance. If they roll along and it settles behind and gets that dream run to the outside, it can be there. But I think it needs everything to go right to win Osmar. Whereas, there's quite a few good sit sprinters here. So General Salute will be the one carrying my hopes and dreams, and Barbara a little winner. And like GK said, there's probably a couple you've got to put in the quaddie just because of the makeup of the race. But the pattern is very important to the chances of General Salute. If you can make ground sort of midfield and wide, I think it'll be in the finish.
Yeah, if Need Some Luck and Firestorm both win on Saturday,
you nearly got to have that double just to the Vaseline double. It's just in case. In case.
There might not be a Caloundra Cup or Sunshine Coast Wink Skinnies meeting next. We might just cancel the last show.
What's that? If they both win? That's
win.
Why you got to have it. You don't back them individually, but you just have something out wide on the double, just expecting it to come.
So summarise your best bet, GK. Was it Quietness early in the card?
Yeah, look, I think Quietness would be the best, and General Salute probably. I'll probably Termagant and then General Salute. They're probably the three main plays on the card for me.
So what was your best?
Just unloading on the 80-1 double, Grinzinger Bell into General Salute, and then just strapping Trev's leather undies on and putting the bit between my teeth and hiding in the cupboard. That'll be me.
Yeah.
You got to have a go. You got to have a shot at the title.
Yeah, I might have just like
if you find a 6-4 chance after this, what are you going to say?
Oh, just maybe a sneaky, roughy place all up. So maybe Democracy Manifest the place.
What?
Yeah, into Curvalont.
Don't worry about the second leg. You don't have to worry about it. You're already out.
Yeah. No, that'd be all right. You get a massive price. You only
into
get
what? Curvalont
40 or 50 to 1 the place, into maybe General Salute the place in the last. Democracy Manifest, Curvalont into...
Look what he's done to us, GK.
General
He's going to run
place.
fourth now.
There's 3 placed horses.
The first 2 will run the place, and General Salute will be a car crash run fourth.
It's going to be feast or famine. So hopefully there's been a fair bit of agreements in a lot of this set.
I think if GK goes broke Saturday, I'm going to be broke. I feel like we're both going to be broke together. Yeah. I don't think I've ever lined up with someone as much in a card in my life.
It's got to be a positive.
Yeah.
Well,
GK?
Is it? I mean, I just, my natural inclination is to find Sydney form in Brisbane. So, it's always going to happen.
Exactly. And I'm finding Melbourne form in Brisbane, so that's even scarier.
Danny's got a pretty good record in Queensland.
Sources are going all right too, just quietly.
Danny O'Brien.
They're going all right. All right.
I think hopefully he's resting at the month stable.
He's a Group 1 winner come Saturday afternoon.
We shall see. All right, big thanks both you boys for today's show. Also, punting form and racing Queensland. Stay tuned for next week as well, because we've got that the Wink Skinnies meeting, the Caloundra Cup, the Glasshouse, and all the races that I've kept on that program. So it'll be another one. And the good thing is, GK, we're not going to get that big dump of rain. So hopefully the track's pretty bettable, and then we'll put the Queensland winter to bed, and then we'll be back for, I think, Ori Star on at the end of July, early August. So more things to come from the Bet Doctor Little Birdie team. So big thanks to all our sponsors and you guys, and hopefully we found a couple of winners, and we jag a big quaddie on Saturday. We'll see you next week.